President Zuma delivered his annual State of the Nation address in Cape Town last week. Traditionally, the State of the Nation marks the opening of Parliament and assesses the country's domestic and foreign situation. It also outlines the goals for the year ahead. This year, President Zuma announced an infrastructure development program of mammoth proportions. CNBC Africa's Ashlea Harvey reports from Cape Town.
It's one of the few occasions where three arms of state, executive, judiciary and legislature come together at one place to celebrate the nation and nation building. It's an opportunity for the president to take a pulse of the nation and set out his policy objectives for the year ahead. The red carpet was rolled out and high-profile guests and political figures gathered in glitz and glamour to hear President Zuma's State of the Nation address. Cape Town Parliament was a buzz, with a national salute by the ceremonial guard, a military band and a fly-past by the South African Air Force. 2011 was declared a year of job creation, something the president had to answer to in his address. It's no secret that there was a lot of pressure on President Zuma to explain the government's failure to create the jobs he promised. According to Zuma, 356,000 people were newly employed in 2011, the country's best performance since the global recession. But he admitted that unemployment remained stubborn, not achieving the average target of 500,000 jobs per year. The theme of this year's address was knowledge economy and development opportunity. President Zuma focused on the economy, infrastructure development, service delivery and education.
The eastern part of the Northwest province will also benefit from the greater focus on infrastructure connected to mining and mineral beneficiation. Secondly, we'll improve the movement of goods and economic integration through a Durban Free State Gauteng logistics and industrial corridor. This project is intended to connect the major economic centers of Gauteng and Durban, as well as Pinetown, and at the same time connect these centers with improved export capacity through our seaports. In this regard, I'm pleased to announce the market demand strategy of Transnet, which entails an investment over the next 7 years of 300 billion rand in capital projects.
The response to the president's address was mostly positive, although some felt that it was ambitious and lacked deliverables.
I think it was a very, very good, very informative State of the Nation address that focused on how we should work together to build our economy and make sure that we stick to the 5 key priority areas of our government, especially on the creation of sustainable jobs, but in the same vein also strengthen our capacity in infrastructure provision, because that's how government and business and other social sectors would accomplish this goal of provision of infrastructure, both at the local and also just nationally in our country, to unlock the potential of our economy.
The program as agreed by the ANC is getting implemented now. The focus on the infrastructure is not by accident, it's implementing the overall plan of the country. Because if you develop the infrastructure, you develop the capacity of the country to be productive and therefore create economic capacity of the country.
I think the picture that has been painted about what has happened with unemployment is over-optimistic. I don't think unemployment has gone down as low as what it has been suggested. But the infrastructure program can help alleviate that. Now, subject of course to 2 things: that the volume of investment in that area which is not indicated in the speech. I think I'd like to look at that and see how much money will go into that. Secondly, and critically so, how much of that money will in fact reach the projects that will create those jobs. Because if the corruption element and the entrepreneurship is going to siphon those resources away, we will not have the impact that ideally could be hoped for.
I thought the focus on infrastructure-led economic growth was the right focus. We must now stop talking about things and start doing things. I liked the World Cup as a model for intergovernment cooperation. It worked very well then. There's no reason why it shouldn't work well now if we can remove all the red tape out the way, and that is going to be absolutely essential. I like the focus on the green economy. I thought the focus on the gap market in housing for the people who earn too much to get subsidies and too little to get bonds was very important. But there wasn't enough honesty about the real state of this nation, the crisis of poverty and unemployment, the extent of corruption, and all of the obstacles to growth. We need to be absolutely honest with ourselves about what those factors are. Otherwise, the good plans that there were undoubtedly in that speech can never come off the ground.
The President announced a new state-driven program to improve infrastructure in key areas. If the planned infrastructure is properly implemented and other outstanding issues addressed, it is projected that unemployment could be halved in the next 8 to 13 years. The President identified the solution for the country as higher growth and job creation to reduce and ultimately eradicate poverty and inequality.